down. I am the only bus driver. You don't know how I feel. The only thing that I caress is the steering wheel.
Their spurs cut chunks out of the decks. There are too many cowboys on this tugboat. They all wear 10-gallon hats. There are too many cowboys on this tugboat. They went to lasso the skipper, but on a much bigger scale he's hauling in a bulk carrier from Rotterdam. No place to corral a cow either on the bow or the stern. When will they learn? Foghorn whip crack, foghorn whip crack. Yee-haw! Hello, my name is Robert Garnham, Professor of Whimsy. What are you staring at? Marrying a man as wrinkled as sea sand and old as the sea? Those trains will run over their tails if they can, snorting and sporting like porpoises. Flee the hurly, the whirly gig wheels of the train, as round as the world and as large again. Running halfway to Babylon down through fields of clover to gay Troy town. A puffing their smoke as grey as the curl on my forehead, as wrinkled as sands of the sea. But what does that matter to you, my girl, and what does that matter to me? Thank you very much. Just a bit of Dame Edith Sitwell there for you, and continuing with the sea theme. Hot, hot surfer dude dancing on the wave. Hot, hot surfer dude, you live a life I crave. Hot, hot surfer dude, you are so very brave. Hot, hot surfer dude, watch out for that walrus. Hot, hot surfer dude, I'd invite you back to my beachfront surf shack, but you probably drip all over the floor. Thank you very much. Let's slow it down a little bit now. Just another day in Smurf Town. Just another day with these Smurfs. They're all so blue and chirpy. Just another day with these jerks. But you and me are wombles. It's the way it's always been. And we will go a-wombling. Is it really such a sin? Thank you very much. That was called Smurf Town. At the back of the bus where the cool guys sit, the cool guys sit. Ever so hip, I try and make my way to sit with them. Are you cool, they say. Yes, I say. Are you cool, they say. No, I say. Though I did once wear a baseball cap, front to back, it was kind of a style at the time. They made me sit elsewhere. Oi! Just another poem there for you. And this is another classic, this is another cover by Jack Warner. Now I really ought to tell you about the job I got. To look at me you wouldn't think it's true. I may not be a fella who tends to get hard-hearted. I think I'd better tell you what I do. I'm the bloke that bungs up rat holes, yes I am. I'm a rat hole bunger-upper, too and all. And when I speak of rattles, I don't mean babies' rattles, I mean owls what's gnawed by rats right through the walls. Now I may have had some narrow squeaks in my time, though I don't look very brave or fond of strife. But when I speak of rattles, I don't mean babies' rattles, it looks like I've got a job for life. Know what I mean? Thank you very much. Yes, my name is Robert Garnham. I'm going to put these on because I have no idea what I'm looking at. Yes, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you've had a lovely Christmas period, a lovely festive period. I'm just going to do some poems for about 20 minutes. I hope you enjoy them. This is a fairly new one. I haven't committed it to memory just yet. It goes exactly like this. I'll be doing a couple of cover versions as well as we go along. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You with your glamping, you with your glamping, are you going camping? Yes, we're going glamping, the comforts of home, except you're glamping, you are just a tosser. Will you whack a tent peg with a rubber mallet, or will you stretch a canvas over the frame? No, you won't, it's such a shame. Why don't you stay in a hotel instead? You're not even being ironic. You with your glamping, off you go glamping. Oh, it's so hilarious, we went glamping. Prosecco in the mini fridge and avocado toast, and I hope you choke on your social detachment. You with your glamping, calling people darling, pay a bit extra, have others look up at you. You look like a horse and you smell like one too in your Swarovski crystal Wellington boots. You with your glamping, what's the point of glamping? Comes with a hot tub and a butler named Trev. Tell your friend Bev about the fun you had glamping, and by the way, I shagged your husband. Thank you very much. Not sure about the ending of that one. So here's another one. This is actually one of the very first poems I ever wrote for performance, but I've rejigged it over the years, and one of you from about 15 years ago might recognise it. Here it is. The new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. The new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. I don't want to cause a fuss and I don't want to cause a riot, but the new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. Put some feta cheese in there, put some camembert in there, put some other things in there. It's very, very quiet. The new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. The new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. I don't want to cause a fuss and I don't want to cause a riot, but the new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. Bought it from a man from Bern. The man from Bern, his name was Bern. Fridge freezer, Swiss geezer, so quiet. The new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. The new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. I don't want to cause a fuss and I don't want to cause a riot, but the new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. Have you turned it on? Of course I've turned it on. Have you plugged it in? What am I, daft or something? The new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. The new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. I don't want to cause a fuss and I don't want to cause a riot, but the new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. The old one went chuck-a-boom, chuck-a-boom, chuck-a-boom. The old one went whitty, whitty, woo. The old one went chuck-a-boom, chuck-a-boom, chuck-a-boom. The old one went to the tip. The new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. The new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. I don't want to cause a fuss and I don't want to cause a riot, but the new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. The new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. The new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. I don't want to cause a fuss and I don't want to cause a riot, but the new fridge freezer is suspiciously quiet. Oi. Thank you. I haven't performed that one for about 15 years. I think I can see why now. Okay, so this next poem is from this book, Hello. And it was a poem that finished my show, Bouncer, which was the show I took to the Edinburgh Fringe about 3 years ago now. Doesn't time fly? My show Bouncer was all about my ill-fated appearance on Britain's Got Talent. And I wrote this poem, kind of sums the whole thing up, really. I hope you like it. It is called Woodlouse Boy. I was almost famous once. Well, actually, nowhere near it, but it sounds good. And it's a great way to start a poem. Me? Famous? I know Elton John, but then again, who is? Well, obviously, Elton John. I had a little adventure, you see, undertaken more out of curiosity. It's an illness which I managed not to catch, which the perfect antidote is obviously the words, "Hello, I'm a poet," and now I'm starting to wonder, was it really so wrong to hope? The whole thing was a bit like sex. The excitement, the build-up, the hours of frantic rehearsal, only to be told 20 seconds in by the person I'm doing it at, let's just call it a day. And I end up thinking, was it really so wrong to hope? How weird the way things turned out. One minute I'm on stage at the London Palladium, the next I'm back at work, mopping up sick, when my name could have been added to that prestigious list of former winners well, to be honest, I can't think of any, but I think one of them was a dog. And that celebrity who said, "Why don't you give up poetry?" I should have taken off my left shoe and hurled it at his massive face. He's a donkey-breathed weasel shagger. He's a squeaking, flaky, foul and obnoxious snot puddle. He's a smug and insidious platform of misery. He's a grinning bollocks. He's a prehistoric, sneer-lipped, patronising scumbucket. I don't like him very much. But was it really so wrong to hope by the way it was David Walliams? I think I just went a little bit crazy. Imagined a version of myself who doesn't exist, like when I was a child and I invented a superhero called Woodlouse Boy, who'd been bitten by a radioactive woodlouse and, well, the rest just writes itself, really. I could have been like Woodlouse Boy, curled up into a defensive ball, shielded against the onslaught of fame. But here it comes again, the same refrain. Was it really so wrong to hope? Interviews and endorsements, cameramen and wine, dark glasses hiding tired eyes, living on Hollywood time, plans, fans, illustrious, adrenaline as a fuel, throbbing, thriving and vacuous, the epitome of cool. I didn't become famous for the money. I didn't become famous for the sex. I didn't become famous for the fame. I just didn't become famous. But was it really so wrong? Was it really so wrong? Was it really so wrong to hope? Thank you very much. And of course, the person who that poem's about is in the news a lot these days, isn't he? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do a couple of cover poems. And this is the first one. It's from a wonderful poet and someone who I regard as one of my best friends, Melanie Branton. And this poem is from her book, Can You See Where I'm Coming From? With its amazing cover. And it's got such wonderful poems in there. I just hope you like this because I love it. It's called Everything Reminds Me of You. Everything reminds me of you. No, I mean it. Everything reminds me of you. There's this performance poet who was the warm-up act to a more famous performance poet at a gig I was at. And without my glasses, he reminded me of you. But then I saw him again when I did have my glasses, and I realised that actually the only real point of reassemblance is that you're both vaguely blonde, and it made me want to smash my glasses so then all vaguely blonde men would remind me of you. The equal opportunities monitoring form that came with the job application I just filled in. I just filled it in and it reminded me of you. As I ticked white British, my eyes were naturally drawn to the other options further down the page, and they fixed on one as I thought to myself, that's your ethnicity. And I know I'll probably never get the job, and I'll be stuck on job seekers' bloody allowance for the rest of my natural life, but it doesn't matter because I know that I have touched a piece of paper in a drawer, in a filing cabinet, in the office of a human resources department somewhere, which according to their data protection policy they may keep for up to 5 years, which mentions your ethnicity. And on the sadly extremely rare occasions that you favourite one of my tweets on Twitter, I love the way that the notification that pops up in my email has your name on it. You found your way into my inbox, which, come to think of it, sounds like it ought to be some kind of sexual euphemism. And God, I wish it was. And I looked your name up on one of those baby name websites, and it turns out it means the exact same thing in Sanskrit that my name does in Greek. So even my own name reminds me of you, which is a bit unfortunate, as now, every time someone calls me, instead of answering them, I just sit there staring wistfully into the middle distance, and a little streak of dribble runs down my chin. And I know I'm old enough to be your grandfather. And I know you've already got a girlfriend and you're on uber hottie and I'm a bit of a plodge. And if you ever heard this poem and realised it was about you, well, you'd probably take out a restraining order. But then there'd be a restraining order with both our names on it. And in a restraining order, it's a legal document, right? Well, so is a marriage certificate. So it would be a bit like us getting married. Except not quite. Thank you. That was by the wonderful Melanie Branton. So, cover versions I have done so far today. I've done one Edith Sitwell. I've done a Jack Warner. I've done a Melanie Branton. And now I'm going to do another up-and-coming young poet whose work I'm sure you're familiar with. Is called Clive Osman, I think it's pronounced, or it could be Clive Osman, I'm not sure. But this is a poem of his. It's called You Never Know. You never know what each day will bring, what is happening or about to happen. Take yesterday, for example. I like to think I'm open-minded, ready for any eventuality, but the last thing I expected was to walk into my office and find a penguin sitting at my desk reading the Bible. It's usually mucky magazines. I don't know if he was converted. He hasn't spoken to me since I mistook him for a badger. There's a badger in the garden and he thinks he's on EastEnders. But as far as I can tell, he's still a penguin. This got me thinking. You never know when your time's up. If he'd had a gun, the consequences don't bear thinking about. Or in this case, penguin thinking about. There are no bears in this poem. Luckily for me. And for the meerkat, he didn't... The meerkat? Yeah, he was trying to sell me car insurance. Not sure how he got in the office. I confiscated his key last week after he organised an orgy and advertised it on Facebook. I had an office full of aroused meerkats and perverted insurance brokers. It was traumatising. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is make the most of every day. By the time that penguin gets to your house, he may have a gun, or he may try to lure you into a religious cult. You just don't know. So make sure your loved ones know how you feel, and keep all your doors and windows locked. There is, after all, a radicalised penguin on the loose, and some kinky insurance brokers, which is probably worse. Thank you very much. And that was by, what was his name? Kurt Osman, I think his name was. Wonderful poet. You should look him up. So I am just about there now. I'm going to do 4 more poems. This one I haven't performed in such a long time. And with every year that passes, it becomes more and more out of date. And it was actually written probably about 20 years ago. It's in my book Zebra, and it's called The Increasing Physical Dexterity of Justin Bieber. With each day that passes, the physical strength of Justin Bieber increases. His dexterity and agile nature are evident in any fight situation. If someone's acting in a menacing manner, it's him I want on my side. He's growing up. He's more sure of himself. His muscles are developing, and he knows how to use them. Biebs is on a mission. I'm less sure of myself. My own puny, wimpy life is riddled with inconsequentiality. I have neither the tenacity, the agility, nor the mesmerising hair of Justin Bieber. I do the washing up, and I take out the recycling, all the time pondering on his increasing physical strength. Pretty soon he will devour us all. As his body develops, it begins to take on the chiselled nature of classical statues, and his poise evokes the work of Michelangelo. The subtle layering of muscle on bone structure affords him the upper hand in any hostile scenario. If he were any more statuesque, he'd be a statue. Blessed be he, O Bieber, who makes us gibber and quake. Blessed be he with the thunder in his chest. Blessed be he, fortune's sun-ray, multilinear, postmodernized zeitgeist, bunny flip-flop. Blessed he be he, mighty, mighty, towering colossus of pop. Blessed be he with his interesting collection of tattoos. Blessed be he with the existentialist duplicity of living. Blessed be the hours I spent in contemplation of his greatness. Blessed be the overriding poetry of his music. Oh, how it grabs you in the heart. Blessed be the world as it spins and it turns and it shines, all on account of his increasing physical dexterity. He uses his fists with skill and lightning reflexes. You can't actually see what he's doing because he moves quicker than light. He excels in acrobatics like a Shaolin warrior, seemingly defying gravity, which serves to blind his enemies. See them cower in confusion. He'd be called the flash of a lightning bolt if he already weren't known as Justin Bieber. He's got a mind as pure as the Dalai Lama and as calculating as a calculator. Last night, a thief stole my mobile phone, and Biebs, like a shape-shifting berserker of Icelandic folklore, tore into the chap, not only returning my phone, but also belting out one of his hit songs. I don't know which one it was. They all sound the same, really. Wow, thank you very much. That was called The Increasing Physical Dexterity of Justin Bieber. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 more poems, but this next one is another one, a deep dive, that I haven't performed for about 14 years. It's from my first collection, Nice, which incidentally I am currently rewriting because I'm hoping to bring out a pamphlet called Nicer. This is a very strange poem. It's a little bit surreal, and it's about finding yourself in a village where every single person is a horse. I wrote this before BoJack Horseman, by the way. Slow down, Julie. So fast. You fling the car around like it's a rag doll and you're a Jack Russell. Or perhaps it is love that you're biting into, our love. You've sealed our fate with your recklessness. You can't wait. So fast. It can't last. As the English countryside blurs past into a meaningless green, we will run out of England soon. Hedgerows hide in calamity at every junction. I bet you haven't even packed luncheon. Villages with improbable names, Finch's Bottom, Christmas Pie, bathroom tiling. Actually, that last one might have been an advertisement for bathroom tiling. Determined, you grip the wheel and grit your teeth. I venture some whimsy, but it falls as flat as we might be if we hit a tree. Slow down, Julie. Country lanes and single-track carriageways and pathways, little more than bridleways. Dexterously, you aim your car as if we are rebels on the Death Star, shooting laser cannons at grey sci-fi nonsense, imperialist forces, Darth Vader's fighter ship, squirrels, badgers. There's a badger in the garden now and he thinks he's on EastEnders. Lanes passing by with inches to spare like Luke Skywalker, and you, brave starfighter, taking chance on oblivion and the universe in your Toyota Yaris. 158 miles of anger driving. We stop at an Americanized diner near a quarry in the middle of a dark, featureless plain where the sky is lit an eerie green by someone else's industrial units. Your wrists ache from clenched gear changes, a dank, dark night with man-made weather, a strange, deserted diner on the A3 whatever. The darkened windows reflect us back at us. I raise an apologetic eyebrow, but only to myself. You still look grumpy. The waitress comes over. She's a proud, grey-coloured, thoroughbred racehorse. She takes our order and clops off to the kitchen. What is it? I ask. How can you still be so irked? And then it strikes me. Hang on. The waitress was a horse. And so's the chef, expertly holding a spatula between his teeth, an old English cart horse, cooking dinner and swishing flies with his tail. And so's the other waitress. They share a joke in the corner, whinny, and get back on with their work. Everywhere I look, horses. A horse at the next table. A horse on the slot machine. Horses perusing the menu. Horses parking cars. Two ponies sharing a large ice cream. Deeply in love. She wants to take it to the next level. Whoa, he's saying. Whoa. The place is calm, settled. One might even say stable. You begin to relax. I look at you ever so briefly. There's a flicker of a smile. Our dinners are passable, though there's rather more hay than I'm used to. I ask the waitress if I might substitute an item and have an egg instead. She says no, as is her wont, for horses are notorious naysayers. As we eat, another horse comes in, accompanied by a psychoanalyst. Why the long face, the chef says. Yes, the psychoanalyst says, I'd like to know too. And then the waitress asks the chef why he isn't wearing his hat. I'd feel overdressed, he says. I normally only wear jockeys. And then one of the waitresses tells the chef that she saw a zebra in the next village. The chef replies that he was probably an escaped prisoner. He calls the police. A horse comes in, wearing a onesie. A human onesie. It makes him look like a cartoon human. The chef is agitated, comes over to our table, asks if we are offended. No, we are not offended by this pantomime human. You look happier now, Julie. The place has a surreal magic. The horses get inquisitive and gravitate over. We feed them carrots and apples and they laugh and joke about how silly humans are. With their weathermen and their tractors and their supermarkets and their chip shops, and they dance in a rhythmic clip-clop, and we join in as the day bleeds into the next, dancing, laughing, horsing around. Because life is written in the levity. Our time here is minuscule, a brevity into which the blessing of breathing is recognised only with our leaving. We put on our coats, say our farewells, not understanding the world one iota, heading back across the car park to your Toyota. And your driving is much more sensible, as the night and the world seem to hug us into someone else's newborn day, looking forward to getting home and hitting the hay. What were you so angry about, Julie? What were you so angry about? Neither of us can remember anymore, but we both understand ourselves a little better. So that was that one then. That was all about something a bit deeper than what it says it's meant to be about. So what I'm going to do 2 more poems. One of them was from my show Bouncer, and it is all about how you are they kind of make you feel behind the scenes of a certain TV show that you are the most wonderful person they've ever had on, and then you realise how fake it all is because they're saying it to absolutely everybody. I'll see if I can do it. I haven't done this one since I performed my show Bouncer about 3 years ago, and I'll probably need to take a big deep breath before I get on with it, so here we go. This truth will come unblemished and without ulterior motives, but I've never met anyone more talented than you. Talent oozes from your psyche, talent cascades from your brain. You've literally got talent coming out of your ears. Someone close that window. That's talent you can smell. I've told you 1,000,000 times that's no exaggeration. Faberenza, Faberenza, everything you do is Faberenza. Oh my God, you exist in a world of genius, the likes of which would make Lady Gaga herself decide to pack it all in and become a dental hygienist. Faberenza, Faberenza, everything you do is Faberenza. If entertainment were a zoo, then you'd be the tiger. Grrr. You've just broken the talentometer. We haven't even turned it on yet. I told my aunt about your brilliance and she spontaneously combusted. Mind you, she was on a train at the time and the announcer had just said, "Take care as you are light." You should write a poem about that. Faberenza, Faberenza, everything you do is Faberenza. I'm not telling porkies, but you got it, big boy, and you flaunt it. Am I dreaming? Do I need waking up? Watch as I hit myself over the head with a frying pan. Clum! The last time I was this shocked was when I worked as a train manager and I got struck by lightning. Mind you, I was the conductor. Faberenza, Faberenza, everything you do is Faberenza. My cousin's pony wrote a song about how wonderful you are, but couldn't sing it to us because he's a little horse. Faberenza, Faberenza, everything you do is Faberenza. Ooh, beep, 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 beep. That was a genius detector, and it's honed in on you, big fella. If genius was a crime, then it's a fair cop gov. Slam on the cuffs. Faberenza, Faberenza, everything you do is Faberenza. Your poems can change the world, my friend, make a king feel like a commoner. You kill so much with your talent on stage, your poems should come with their own coroner. Oh my God, I think I'll just explode. I better stand outside here in the corridor. Someone better dial 999 because you set the world on fire. I am no liar. Faberenza, Faberenza, everything you do is Faberenza. You really are the best we've ever seen. Sorry, what was your name again? She. Wow. I've forgotten how that one goes and how, whatever. Oh, yeah. What I'm going to do, I'm going to finish with this one. It's an old classic, one of my favourites. And I'm going to say, have a great new year to everybody. Hope you have a really good 2026. Hope it's much better than 2025 was for a lot of people. This one hasn't got a title yet. It's just called Poem. There's a badger in the garden and he thinks he's on EastEnders. There's a badger in the garden and he thinks he's on EastEnders, having arguments with other badgers, arguments with family members, arguments and arguments. He thinks he's on EastEnders. Hey there, badger, what's going on? Hey there, badger, whatever's wrong? Hey there, badger, are you filled with ennui or angst about life in the postmodern world? Or do you think you're on EastEnders? There's a badger in the garden and he thinks he's on EastEnders. There's a badger in the garden and he thinks he's on EastEnders. And I said, shoo, Mr. Badger, shoo and go away. Shoo, Mr. Badger, shoo and go away. And the badger said, you having a laugh or something? What's it all about? Thank you very much. Have a good new year.